Grandchild is placed in your arms and you only thought you knew what love was. This is very important for me to say and for you to hear, because the love that I'm explaining to you is
Warren,
only.
could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
For the defense?
Robert Mount for defendant, Your Honor.
All right, are you Zachary Warren?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea in this case. I think someone else did the plea. So you entered a plea on April 19th to the offense of indecency with a child by contact. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishments to be assessed at a cap of 12 years. The state is opposed to your applications. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
We have, Your Honor.
Defense?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objections? State?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No.
State, do you have any witnesses?
We have one brief witness. Marina is getting her.
All right.
State calls Carissa Borles.
All right, you could approach, please. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you could lower your hand, state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Carissa Borles, Charissa.
Excuse me, no children in the courtroom. Are those your witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, who's bringing babies to the courtroom? There's something called COVID, and this courthouse is germy, no matter how we try to clean it.
I mean, and with it being such close family together, and because of it being his family, we have to figure out how to support our daughter, and it's different.
Is this something that continues to affect your family?
Okay.
In what ways?
I mean, mostly with Allison. She still doesn't know how to handle everything, especially with all of the reschedules with court and everything. She's been having to be ready for any change made within this case. She's been waiting for some sort of answer, and like I said, she constantly brings up the case, or wondering what's going on or when's it going to be over.
Do you feel safe with the idea of Zachary being around children, other children?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want Zachary held accountable? I'll pass the witness.
No questions.
All right, thank you for coming in. All right, State, do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
Judge, I'd like to call Christine Miller, please.
Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you can state your name for the record, please.
Christine Miller, CHRISTINE MILLE.
Defense?
Ms. Miller, can you tell the judge what kind of work you did?
I'm a licensed professional counselor with the state of Texas, in Bernie, Texas.
Okay, and tell the judge what kind of counseling services you ordinarily perform, or what you're licensed to perform.
I use a couple of techniques for people to help them. Counseling is a way of confiding in someone, and the techniques that I use are cognitive behavioral therapy, which is change your mind, changes your body, and vice versa. I also use something called EMDR, which changes the mental pathways in your brain. And that helps people who have gone through a really hard time in the past, or with post-traumatic stress. And that helps them not experience those triggers, post-traumatic stress symptoms. And it's highly effective. It's the #1 most researched method in counseling. So I've had a lot of success with that. I have been using it since 2012, where I've been trained.
So
Technique.
let me try to break this down into just a couple questions. So how long have you been licensed as a counselor, you said?
Since 2012, fully licensed without being an intern since 2016.
In that time, have you worked with other people who have come to you for counseling regarding sex offenses or family violence offenses?
Family violence, yes, not specifically sex offenses.
Okay, so can you tell the court how you met Zach and then about the type of treatment and services you provided to Zach?
He was referred to me by a previous client, and I have seen him 4 times recently, and it is my opinion that he has been honest with me, forthcoming, explained the situation. I was able to use the techniques that I have described to you on at least 2 of the 4 occasions, and I felt his sincerity and honesty with me and openness.
So when you talk about the treatment you provided, does that explore his past history? Does that talk about things that trigger him? Does the work you do, is that supposed to work on him being able to be a better person moving forward?
Yes, so it takes those memories, those childhood memories, and we change the mental result. It's, for example, you change the ending to a story. You might read a story, you change the ending. You can do that in your brain. It's fascinating. And they're exploring all kinds of neural pathways in the brain nowadays. And so keeping up with that, it actually changes your behavior. So for post-traumatic stress, if you're being triggered and you act out, post-traumatic stress, it feels like the past situation is actually happening now, and it changes that. You start thinking about it less and less and less, and it becomes part of the history. And then already we used it, and the next time he said he confronted a person, and it was very helpful to him from his past, and he was able to focus not on the past, but on how he's going to behave in the future.
So moving forward, if the judge gives Zach probation, I guess, will you continue to work with Zach
Yes,
in counseling
yes,
and work with these different techniques that you use in order to help him deal with the issues he dealt with when he was
yes.
younger?
He has asked to be continued, and I would gladly pursue that.
Okay, now, you and I talked about this, you're not licensed to perform any sort of risk assessment.
No.
That's just a different specified type of license that you didn't see, right?
Not that.
Okay.
Suicidal risk assessment, I can.
Okay.
And he has not exhibited any of those different symptoms. So, but actual sex problems, I've never, that's a whole different thing that I'm not certified to do.
But so will the treatment that you're providing him, will that help him, do you think, in all of his life moving forward? And not just the issues, the sex offender issues and things like that, but the life issues moving forward?
Absolutely. It helps us with those triggers. It helps addictions of any sort. It helps behavior issues. It's really amazing technique and treatment. So, but it does require a certain number of sessions to be able to come, so that if probation is judged, then he would, I feel like he could be required to attend counseling with those treatments in mind.
Okay. Judge, I pass the witness.
Say,
Just a couple questions.
Yes.
You said that Zach is the only sex offender you've ever worked with, right? And you're not certified to treat sex offenders?
No.
And you said you provided behavioral treatment to them only twice, is that correct?
No, well, 2 out of the 4 sessions. Counseling is also in speaking what has happened to you. It has some sort of effect on you so that it eases pain and help.
No other questions?
I have nothing further.
All right, thank you. Defense, call your next witness.
Laura Lee Warren.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you can lower your hand and need you to speak up? Could you state your name and spell it for the record?
Okay, my name is Laura Lee Warren, LARALEEWARREN.
All right, defense.
Ms. Warren, how are you related to Zach? Okay, you can just speak up, okay, because she's got to take down the record.
I'm his wife.
And you understand we're here today because we're asking the judge to consider Zach's application for deferred adjudication. Correct?
Yes, sir.
You know what he's charged with, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he entered a plea on that case, and he's applying for deferred. And one of the issues that is always raised on cases like this is if somebody is granted probation or deferred, there are restrictions on a person's contact with children. Now, you and Zach have you have a 10-year-old, right?
Yes, sir.
Does he, are you the primary custodian?
Yes.
And you understand that your duty as a parent is to look out for the best interest of your child, correct?
Correct.
And are you comfortable with asking the judge if Zach is granted deferred, with Zach being in your house with you and your child?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand CPS has no qualms about removing a child if they think a mother is not acting in the child's best interest. Okay. And how long have you and Zach been together?
About on and off 5 years. I mean, I've known him for 5 years. So,
And have you seen Zach exhibit any sort of behavior that would give you any concerns about Zach being around your child? And if the judge does grant Zach's application for deferred, are you willing to participate in a chaperone program?
yes.
And you and I talked about that, right? The requirement for Zach to be around your child if the court granted that. And are you asking the judge to give Zach a chance at deferred adjudication?
Yes.
Judge, I pass the witness.
All right, state.
Just a couple questions. You said you and Zach have been together about 5 years?
Yeah, on and off.
So you guys got together when your son was about 5 years old?
Yes.
Do you guys plan to have kids?
No.
No other questions?
I have nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you for coming. Defense, your next witness.
Shirley Joe Blair.
Shirley Joe Blair. Can you raise your hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Or you can lower your hand if you state your name for the record and please spell it.
Shirley Joe Blair, SHIRLEYJOBLAIR.
Defense.
Ma'am, how are you related to Zach?
Zachary is my son.
And you understand we're here today because Zach applied for deferred adjudication on this case, correct?
Yes.
And you know, we've talked about what the specific allegations are,
Yes.
right? And you were present when we were set for trial and when Zach entered the plea.
Yes.
And you and I talked about this, and you felt more comfortable if you wanted to read a letter that you prepared for the judge.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Any objections to her reading the letter?
No objection. I mean, she's still subject to cross-examination.
Yes, you may read your letter. How long is the letter?
It's typed, but it's big print, but it's 3 pages.
All right, no problem. I was just wondering.
And Judge, on that note, I want to make sure that you got the victim impact statement that was submitted separately.
Yes, I received it, but I have not reviewed.
I got it.
Any objections? All right, so you may begin with your letter.
My name is Shirley Jo Blair. I would first like to take a moment to state that while my experience in criminal law is but a very small fraction of my experience, I'm a career paralegal. I have been for 26 years. I'm a senior litigation case manager and a case manager team lead, responsible for 12 case managers, litigation assistants, and interns. I say that, Judge, so that you know I'm an educated person. As I sit here today, it's still unreal to me that my family has been going through all of these years. The amount of trauma that every member of our family has gone through is more than I can put into words. My children and my family have been torn apart, and the relationship between them irreparable. I, as well as the rest of the family, have had to separate our lives between children and grandchildren. My granddaughter has had to endure things at a young age that no one, let alone a child, should have to go through and understand. My son has endured things that no one should have to endure or be subjected to. There are no winners here today, at least not for my family. It is impossible to sum up all of the things that I feel that should be heard here today, so please bear with me as I'm going to try to best highlight the things I feel most important to say. I was blessed with 3 sons, Zachary being my youngest, and I need to tell you a little bit about him, because as he sits here today in front of you, you see only the charges that have been brought against him. You see someone who has been painted as a monster and a menace to society. On the day of ultimate judgment, he'll stand before God, and God knows all of him. So it's unfair for someone who should be taxed with judging him with such a life-altering sentence should not know a little bit more about him. And that's what I've written this, so that you have more than what's in your court papers. Zachary was born premature. But by far, after Zachary came, he was the most outgoing, kind-hearted, considerate child, always has been. Always thought of others before himself. All of my boys are all of those things, but it's not about them. Zachary has always had such a deep-rooted sense of need to take care of everyone around him, make them laugh, feel welcome, and feel loved. The sheer number of times during Zachary's life that someone has told me that I raised such a polite, well-mannered, helpful, and considerate child has always given me such a sense of pride. It's also something that's always seemed to get me through the hard times. See, 2 of my 3 sons, Zachary and Trevor, were diagnosed at a young age, first with ADHD and then bipolar disorder. So not every day was a walk in the park. There were depressive and angry days where he felt no one loved him and life was unfair, and there were manic days where he was the happiest person on the planet. At his core, though, Zachary is and always has been that sweet, loving, funny, considerate person. But even his oldest brother, Colton, father of my granddaughter, the absolute joy of my life, who is the focus of these charges, would have to say was true. Zachary is a product of a broken home. At the age of 5, Zachary's father abandoned us and left me with 3 young boys to figure out how to take care of alone. I was a sole provider most of their lives because their father, who is also bipolar, couldn't keep a job most of the time and was in and out of jail. He did show back up in their lives, but their relationships with their father were always strained due to the mental illnesses that they all fought. We moved fairly often during the boys' childhoods. While I tried to be the best mother I know how to be, I was young and raising them as a single mother, and I made choices that I did not realize were bad at the time. Choices that made life harder on my children. Choices that led my children to go through things I was unaware of until their adulthoods. I knew my children had not had the easiest of childhoods, but they sheltered me from many things that I should have protected them from. Here again, we see the kindness and consideration all of my boys possess. On September 26, 2012, God blessed my family with the most beautiful ray of sunshine, Alice and Louise. This little girl changed our lives. If you have children, you know that the love you feel for them the moment they're placed in your arms makes your heart feel so full it could almost burst. If you have grandchildren, you know the moment that grandchild is placed in your arms that you only thought you knew what love was. This is very important for me to say and for you to hear, because the love that I'm explaining to you has only deepened over the last almost 10 years. I lived next door to my oldest son, Colton, and Shyla, Allison's mother, when Allison was born. I was lucky enough to see her every day, as was Zachary. I spent almost every day with Allison for the first 3 years of her life. She lived with me for almost 2.5 of those 3 years. She is more than my grandchild. She's the daughter I never had. The bond that I have with that child goes beyond my comprehension. I can tell you that I would wager money that there is no greater love on this earth than the love I have for her. The love that Zachary had for Allison was also very deep. Allison and Zachary bonded from the beginning. Zachary would beg to hold her, feed her, laugh, and play with her. He would rock her to sleep, help teach her to walk and talk. The two of them were inseparable. In a crowded room, Allison would choose Zachary to hold her over even her parents. When the allegations of these charges occurred, Zachary would have been just about 20 years old and Allison almost 5. It was almost a year after the allegations that the charges were filed, and Zachary was arrested on charges that could very well be considered one of the most strictly punishable charges in our judicial system. To make matters worse, through no fault of his own or this court's, COVID has further delayed this whole situation, causing it to go on far longer than it should have. I'm not sure if anyone can imagine the pain and suffering that he went through during the first year, not knowing what would come of all of this.